Hey, in today's video, I'm talking about the top protein sources for fat burning. We know protein is really the most important macronutrient because it really helps with blood sugar stability, insulin sensitivity. It helps stop cravings. Also, protein breaks down into peptides and amino acids that are needed for a wide variety of different things in the body. They're needed for producing red blood cells, white blood cells. They're needed for our immune system. They're needed really for carrying out all different types of cellular activities. So we really need good protein, good amino acids in our diet. And when we consume enough protein, that helps us build lean body tissue. It helps us burn fat, helps give us great energy, great mental clarity, and be able to really function at our peak potential. So I always recommend 30 to 50 grams of protein per meal for most individuals. Some individuals may need a little bit more than that. And then there are some individuals, maybe they're kids, children, or very petite women, for example, that maybe are under 150 pounds, and they might be able to get away with 20 to 25 grams in a meal. But in general, really trying to stick with that 30-gram protein rule as a principle is really, really helpful and beneficial. Now, when we look at protein, there's a difference between complete protein and incomplete protein. Complete protein has all of the essential amino acids, and they're all in good ratios, right? Meaning that there's a significant quantity of all of those amino acids. Incomplete protein is missing one or more of the amino acids that are needed, one of the essential amino acids that's needed for the body. Plant-based protein sources, the vast majority of them are incomplete. Okay, that doesn't mean they necessarily are bad. They're still a source of protein. Like, for example, rice and beans are both incomplete proteins sources, but when you consume them together, they become a complete protein. The issue with plant-based sources of protein is that they have a lot of anti-nutrients in them and also a lot of carbohydrate typically that comes with them. And therefore, the protein is less digestible and less absorbable. So you have to eat a lot of rice and beans to get 30 grams of protein. You're getting a lot of carbohydrates in there, and that's going to be a higher carb diet in general. So I'm not a huge advocate of trying to get a good amount of protein from plant-based sources. I don't look at plants as a good protein source. I look at plants as perhaps a good source of healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil or avocados. And I look at them as a source of phytonutrients, right? The colorful, different types of colorful fruits and vegetables have different phytonutrients in them, fiber, things like that that can be beneficial. But I don't look at them as a good protein source. Instead, our best protein sources are going to be animal-based protein. My number one favorite is red meat. Red meat, the reason why red meat is so good, particularly grass-fed red meat, is because you're also getting omega-3 fats, you're getting conjugated linoleic acid, you're going to get carnosine and carnitine, these powerful compounds that help support the protein and really help with overall cellular function, mitochondrial function. You get vitamin B12, zinc, selenium, all these key minerals in high quantities in that grass-fed red meat. So I really like that. Bison, lamb, beef, those are my favorite sources of grass-fed red meat. Number two that I've got on the list is egg protein. Egg is full of all different types of health benefiting nutrients, all your fat soluble nutrients, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K2. Ideally getting it from pasture raised eggs is going to be the best. They're going to have the most of those nutrients. Conjugated linoleic acid, which is also in your red meat as well. Egg protein is one of the most bioavailable forms of protein. It's really good. The only reason why I actually have eggs rated lower than red meat is because there's a lot of people that have egg sensitivity or egg allergy, and so they can't handle the egg, right? There's less people that have intolerances to red meat. More people can handle red meat than the eggs. That's why I ranked it a little higher. Number three is fish protein. It's kind of similar. Fish has tons of powerful nutrients, particularly if you're getting like wild-caught sockeye salmon, or sardines or mackerel, something low on the food chain. The cold water fish like salmon, very rich in omega-3 fats, has astaxanthin, really powerful nutrients that are in it. Okay, but there are people that have fish allergies, one of the most common allergies, or fish sensitivities. Again, that's more common than red meat allergies and sensitivities. That's why I've got it ranked a little bit lower, but from a nutrient perspective, you get tons of amazing nutrients and a great complete protein in the fish protein. Number 4 is going to be dairy protein. Okay, dairy protein is also really good, particularly if you're getting it from things like some sort of organic Greek yogurt. When yogurt, it's a fermented form of dairy, so there's enzymes in there, there's probiotics. The proteins, many of them have already been broken down into peptides, so they're more bioavailable, very easy to absorb. The issue with dairy protein is also there's people that have dairy sensitivities and dairy allergies. Maybe you're one of them, maybe you're not, maybe you just know somebody that has that and they have to avoid dairy. So that's why I've got it ranked number 4 on the list. But from a nutrient perspective, there's a lot of great nutrients, a lot of bioavailable protein that's in the dairy as well. I like organic Greek yogurt. I'll also consume cheeses, organic cheeses, and also grass-fed raw milk. My family, we get grass-fed raw milk from our local farmer, and that's another great protein source as well. And so poultry protein, I've got that ranked number 5. And the reason why I have it ranked number 5 is really all you're getting is a protein, which is important, right? Protein is so valuable and so important. You just don't get a whole lot of other really good nutrients. You do get some minerals in your poultry protein, but you don't get much omega-3 fats. You don't get the conjugated linoleic acid. You don't get a lot of carnitine, creatine, carnosine, all these really powerful compounds. You will get a little bit of B vitamins, maybe some B12, a little bit of iron, but not a whole lot compared to red meat or another good source, or eggs, egg protein. So I've got it at the bottom of the list, but it does tend to be a more tolerable protein. There's less people with sensitivities and allergies to poultry protein than there are to people with egg protein, with fish, and then also with dairy. So it tends to be well tolerable, lower level of, more hypoallergenic, but just not as nutrient dense. And then one other protein I wanted to highlight was collagen or bone broth protein. Collagen protein is not a complete protein source. It doesn't have enough branched chain amino acids and doesn't have enough tryptophan to be considered a complete protein, but it is very rich in lysine, glycine, and hydroxyproline and proline, right? These 4 key amino acids, and we don't get enough of those in consuming the muscle meats. And so getting, I would say, 10 to maybe 40 grams of bone broth or collagen peptides into your diet on a daily basis will help your skin, your hair, your nails, your joints, and your gut health, because it's got the amino acid complexes that are needed for creating more collagen in your body, which is necessary for good skin, good hair, good nails, good gut function, good joints, good joint function. So getting those amino acids on board by consuming collagen peptides or bone broth protein that you can just put in a protein shake, or you can mix with yogurt, for example. Like I was talking about the organic Greek yogurt, and a lot, they're flavored. A lot of these peptides, collagen peptides, bone broth proteins are flavored with stevia or monk fruit. You get them vanilla, chocolate, different types of flavors, and they provide those key amino acids. And so that's something you can consume. You can also get boxed bone broth, right? Brands like Kettle and Fire, which is a great brand. You can buy that at the store or order it, and you get box of bone broth protein, or bone broth, I should say, but it's got the protein in there that's highly absorbable, and that's gonna get you those key amino acids. So again, to summarize this, very important we're getting enough protein in our diet, really important macronutrient that we should be focused on with every meal, making sure we're getting 30 to 50 grams for most people, and then getting it from the best sources, which are gonna be your animal-based sources. If you're a vegetarian, I would encourage you to consume eggs or egg protein. You can get egg protein powders. You can also get protein powders like seed protein powders and stuff like that. Those protein powders are better than just trying to get enough protein from whole foods, because if you're a vegetarian, it's hard to get enough protein just from whole foods. You're going to end up eating a very high amount of carbohydrates oftentimes and a lot of anti-nutrients in order to consume that. But if you're vegetarian, hopefully you'll be able to consume eggs, possibly dairy if your body's able to tolerate that and you're consuming that. So you can do Greek yogurt, things like that. And that would be an approach to take. Also, if you're a vegetarian, doing something like spirulina, which has really highly bioavailable amino acids in it, that also can be really beneficial. So you can do that. You just have to consume a lot of spirulina in order to get any significant quantity of protein. That's why I don't have that on the list here. But if you're eating meat, if you're eating animal products, I would recommend trying to get organic, grass-fed animal products. That way you get the most nutrients with the least amount of chemicals and toxins, which is always an important nutrition principle, and getting your protein levels from the best sources. So hopefully you got a lot out of that. Please share this with anybody that you know and that you care about.